What's up, gamers? We're playing some Higurashi today. Hold on, I'm way too big. I'm gonna take up half the screen. No, make me smaller. There we go. Oh, wait. I forgot to put the spooky filter on. Ah, whatever, it's fine. It won't be too bad today, right? Well, it won't be too spooky today. Because last time in Higurashi Land, the friends forgave Rena for murdering somebody. They're like, hey Rena, it's okay. We all make mistakes. It's okay. So that's where we're at since last time. Not too crazy, actually. Not too crazy at all. See the pleasant, happy music where we last left off. Nothing is wrong ever. Everything is so right with the world. Oh my god. Yeah. Love that music. Oishi! Welcome. Who's talking? Oishi?
Welcome. Would you like a hot dog?
Our shaved ice is the best you've ever had. You can have it with strawberry syrup, melon syrup, or Hawaiian blue syrup.
Try our takoyaki roulette. The winner's packed with a ton of mustard.
I see. Wait. Uh-oh, it's Watsunagashi, actually. Oh god. There are a great many booths at this year's Watsunagashi festival. Anything can become a festival if there are vendors selling food and music for bond dances, I thought. It's still June, but it had been extremely hot in the past few days, almost as if it's already summer. What? June is summer, isn't it? When you have a June festival with bond dance music under this kind of weather, the only thing that's missing to make it a perfect summer festival is fireworks.
This is Kabagi. Oishi-san, can you hear me? Over.
Heard a voice coming from my portable radio. Okay, so we are Oishi POV right now. With this earphone, it looks like I'm secretly listening to the horse races while on duty.
This is Oishi. I can hear you loud and clear.
The town councilors gave us a lot of food. We have oden, yakisoba, pork belly stew, and some barley tea.
No, ha. Do you mean the barley tea we can drink on duty? Or the one we can't drink on duty? Oh.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Well.
Ha.
If it's a canned drink, I'll take it. If it's in a cup, don't worry about it. Roger that.
And all members of the town council are here to say hi. We have the mayor and the head of the Sonozaki family, too. Why are they talking with the Sonozaki family? Oishi's people. Like, and the Sonozaki family's welcoming them? Okay.
What, that old bag audio is there? You can tell her I'm patrolling right now and don't know when I'll be back.
Well, I don't think I could do that for you, sir. She knows you have a portable radio, so she told me to call you to bring you back here. She looks really mad.
I'm sure it'll be a stroke that kills her. Roger that. Tell her with extreme courtesy that I'll be back soon. Please.
Oh well, guess I have to go back.
Mingle with the locals.
Oh, no way.
Sorry, like just ate.
I'm good. All of a sudden, a group of kids come running towards me from behind. After a quick look at them, I noticed that they were the granddaughter of the old bag and her friends. Oh my gosh. They occupied a corner of the shooting gallery stall, making a lot of noise. Mio and Sonozaki. When acting her age, she's a cute, normal girl. But do I ever hate it when she acts like a member of the Sonozaki family. She'll be the boss of the Okinomiya Yakuza territory in 10 or 20 years. Just you wait and see. While I was thinking things like that, I noticed that Mion wasn't the one taking leadership of her group this time. It was the boy. That boy, I know him. He just moved here recently. The boy from the Mayabara mansion. I love how they keep calling his house a mansion. Keiichi Mayabara-kun, was it? Heard that the Mayabara family is from the city. They're supposedly very rich, too. But he doesn't flaunt his family's wealth. He has a good reputation because of that. Even though he just moved here, he's already adjusted to his new school. He's popular with his classmates, too. Everyone in the village seems to like him as well. He's very interesting to watch, as a person of many moods. People watching Keiichi. Boys of his age sure have a lot of energy. Ah, to be young again. Hey, you're up next, Rena. You're lucky it's your turn. Rena, are you okay? Are you feeling sick?
I'm sorry. I guess I have to pass on taking a shot. Okay, you should take a break for a bit. So, that would make it my turn, no? Victory shall be mine.
Looked like only 4 of them were having a good time. A girl called Rena seemed outside of that circle of smiles. Her name is Rena Ryugu. What was her real name? I couldn't remember, but I can check when I get back to the station. Rena's only a nickname. I believe she moved here a year before Mayabara-kun did. Her mother divorced her father, or something like that. She's a strong girl who does all the housework by herself. She's a very modest girl, I'm told, which is rare in this era. Unlike Mayabara-kun, it seemed like she hadn't really opened up to her friends just yet. They had looked like a group of 5. There's a distance between her and the others. It's a little sad, you know? Rena's being such a downer. Oh my gosh. Mayabara-kun has become part of the village, but Rena is still by herself. Well, that's just how it looks to me.
Zzzt. Oji-san, Chief and the section manager are here. Please come back as soon as possible. Roger that. I can't believe the chief came all the way here just to say hi to the locals. I guess he's very dedicated to community service, no?
This is Takatsuki.
Oishi-san, can you hear me? Do you copy? Over. Yes, I hear you. I'm on my way back right now. I'll be there in a minute.
If I don't hurry up, even the chief might end up calling me. I ran back to the headquarters tent. What's going on? What kind of investigation? I guess they're just... Oh, they're gonna die. Oh boy. Uh-huh. That's it? I'm so confused.
Oishi-san, Dr. Irie is here. Oh, thank you so much for coming. So what do you think, Dr. Irie?
Oh, this is when... This is when... Oh my god, the photographer guy claws out his own throat. So he's investigating that. We just skip past basically everything else. Oishi entered the cordoned off area. And there are people from forensics who are taking pictures of the corpse from various angles. Irie was squatting down next to the dead body of Jiro Tomitake. When he stood up, he looked pale. I can't believe it.
I know, can't believe it either. As far as I see, clawed out his throat with his bare hands. This isn't a normal way to go. Most likely it was the cause of some drug or something.
Are you saying he was a drug addict?
Who knows? I guess it's going to be my job to find that out. Or his job.
Oishi-san, what's with this 2x4?
Maybe he was swinging it around? And he threw it away and had more fun clawing at his throat, I guess.
Why was he swinging a piece of lumber around?
Probably did it in self-defense. Did you notice there are several external injuries on his body?
Yes, I can see some bruises.
The easiest explanation I can think of is that he was attacked by someone on his way home to Okinomiya from the festival. He was seized by the culprit, given some shot of some kind of dangerous drug, went crazy, and then died. I've never heard of any drug that can make people claw out their throats. I'm not a specialist, but many drug addicts injure themselves when they're in terminal condition. I'm sure the old man in forensics will take care of the investigation. Excuse me, Oishi-san. We found a bicycle believed to belong to Jiro Tomitake about 100 meters away from here. Hold on. Just reminded me of something. A bicycle. Right? Cause like, the girl, what's her name? It's been too long. What, the girl's name? What if she murdered Tomitake and then left the bike? Because, remember, in a different timeline or whatever the heck. In a different timeline, she was picking up a bike when she picked up Keiichi on the road. Right? He probably fell off his bicycle. Open and shut case. No, Oh, that's great. Thanks for the find. Any other clues? Not yet. They're investigating it right now. So that means the place where the bicycle was found is most likely the place he was attacked. And then he ran away from the suspect and ended up here. Oishi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Irie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomitake. He kept saying the same thing over and over. It's impossible. It's just impossible. Doctor, it happened, so it was possible, okay? Try to think flexibly. Although I get that you don't really see something like this every day, despite being a doctor. Anyway, thanks for your cooperation. You can go home now. Called you here for emergency medical care. It looks like it was a waste of a trip. Sorry. Oishi stuck his head out of the blue tent and asks, "Can anybody give him a ride home?" Irie gasped all of a sudden as he turned to Oishi. What about Takano-san? What happened to Takano-san? What? Oh, your nurse? I think she was with him. Is she okay? Do you know her phone number? Of course. Kuma-chan, get her phone number from Dr. Irie and make someone at the station call her house. Understood. Well, you know, they could just call them right here, right now, but I guess not. Doctor, can I have the number? Sorry, I have to clear my throat. Yes, here it is. Wagi got the phone number from Irie, repeated it back, and then dashed away from the blue tarps. Doctor, Takano-san and Tomitake-san were close friends, right? Yes. Have you heard about any troubles between them? It's the olden days. Maybe they don't have phones. Oh my god, you're right. I'm such a zoomer. I didn't even think about the fact that they literally don't have mobile phones. Have you heard about the troubles? Any troubles between them? No. Not even once. They were very close. Well, I hope she's okay. In the worst case, she could be dead, or she could be the culprit. I see. Nurses have access to dangerous drugs. We don't have anything like that in my clinic. Even if we did, we'd be extra careful with them. There's no way Takano-san could smuggle out a drug from my clinic. It's easier for nurses to do it than for regular people, right? Like I said, I've never heard of a drug like that. And I don't have anything like that in my clinic. Trying to protect Takano. Oishi-san, she isn't at home. The standby unit says they're going to go to her house to check. Doctor, can you give me her address? Kuma-chan, can you also check if the police headquarters has found any unidentified female bodies tonight? Maybe we should check the other prefectures too. Tell the station manager if he can call the headquarters in nearby prefectures and ask if they have any unidentified female bodies. Yes, sir! Are you saying that Takano-san might also be dead? Well, I don't know. You can't laugh about that, Oishi. That's literally his friend and coworker. I don't know if she's dead or if she's the culprit. Of course it's possible she's not involved at all. She might just be getting drunk in a bar somewhere.
Is she dead? I don't know. Maybe.
It's unbelievable. Who does things like this? Well, it's unbelievable to me too. This fits with the rest of the mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. It's been 5 years now. That would make this the 5th curse of Oyashiro-sama. Damn it. Gotta get behind I've got to get whoever's behind it this year for sure. I really want to put an end to these cases before I retire.
Oishi hates the curse of Oyashiro-sama. It had been leading him around by the nose for 5 consecutive years. Who the heck is narrating? Is it Irie? Because it's not Oishi if he's talking about Oishi, right? I don't know.
The victim of the first year, the manager of the damn construction site, was his friend. Despite his desire to avenge his friend, the mystery had only deepened. One case followed another year after year. Oishi would be retiring next March. As a retiree, he'd be able to ask about the progress of the investigation, but he wouldn't be able to take the initiative anymore. In other words, this year was his last chance for revenge. Would he have to put his head in the lion's mouth to capture the culprit? Oishi quietly clenched his fist. I believe that this maze has an exit. Maze is a very convenient word. A maze always has an exit. You don't call it a maze if it doesn't have one. I know I'm on the right path towards the exit of this maze. I used to miss these minor divergencies, but now I don't miss anything. I don't make any mistakes. This time I could feel a response that was different than all the other times. I'm sure I can finally get to the exit of this maze. But no matter which path I choose to come to at this point, Jiro Tomitake always dies. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. What the heck? Which path I come to at this point, Tomitake always dies. Okay. I think I know who the narrator is now. Oh, you've heard about the VN? Dude, this is not a good place to start reading it, I'll be honest. It very, very much matters which order you read this in. So I would go look at chapter 1 first. This is crazy. So this whole chapter isn't just about Rena, I guess. Whoa, it's so dramatic. Whoa. Rena has been sick ever since that day. She hadn't been able to join in on club activities as often since.
Yeah, I still feel feverish. You do, huh? That's a pity.
Hey Rena, why don't you just try and play with us today? Think you'll feel a lot better if you blow off some steam with us. You got this old man's agreement.
Do you think so? Do you? Sometimes resting too much is bad for you. You're quite correct. All illness comes from the mind, don't you know?
What the heck? What kind of 7-year-old talks like that? Everybody had suspected for a while that Rena isn't really sick, at least physically. It's just that many things happened to her at once. She caught a mental cold. That's why I thought she would get better once she played with us, just like we used to. Seemed like Rena was aware of that too. She knew that she had to get out of the state of depression soon. She wanted to get better. She wanted to have fun again every day.
Okay, I'll do it.
What the heck? Great. That's the spirit. Considering the fact that Ren is still recovering from her illness, let's play a tabletop game today. Let me see. Mion started rummaging through her locker, humming to herself. She took one game after another from the locker and put them aside. That locker definitely didn't obey the laws of physics. The amount of games she took out from the locker was more than what it could physically hold. Oh, I forgot about this one. Let's try this. Today, we'll be playing this detective game. Oh, what's that? Sounds interesting. Am I cagey now? Probably.
Well, this is a game where you guess the culprit, the murder weapon, and the scene of the crime. It's a game where you use your brain. You'll pick it up as you play. All you need to do is note down the information you have. In other words, you need to learn the trick of note-taking. This is a game for intelligent people like myself.
The rules don't seem that difficult. In short, it's a game where you sound out the cards each player holds, in order to try and reason out the identity of the cards first drawn out of the deck. There are plenty of games in different formats where you try to identify something hidden in the least number of steps. This one just happens to be a competitive one of those. Yeah, that's Clue. It's Clue. I gotta freaking clear my throat again. I'm fine. The key to winning this game would be how well you can organize your information. We usually like to play athletic games so that we can run around a lot. But in our club, you have to excel both academically and athletically. Alright, this is gonna be great. Let's play. Rena, do you remember how we still haven't decided the winner of the water gun battle? I'm gonna settle it today once and for all.
Oh, are you? Then I'm not gonna go easy on you. If Rena is getting serious, I'll have to get serious too. Yes, indeed. Since that water gun battle, I've reevaluated Keiji-san and Rena-san. I'm gonna be merciless today.
This is getting exciting. This old man's been waiting for everyone to get this fired up. Excellent. Let's do this. Are you ready? I did it with a knife in the library.
Okay, my turn. Keiichi-kun did it with poison in the hall. My turn. Mion did it with a pistol in the lounge.
You're holding the pistol, aren't you? You're bluffing. I've never played Clue before.
I think I know the suspect and the murder weapon. I've narrowed the scene of the crime down to 2. Oh, you're good, Arika-chan. I've narrowed the suspect down to 2, but it's hard to pin down which one it is. I'll give you a tip. There's always a hint in the questions the other players ask you. If you figure it out, you can even solve the whole mystery by order of the cards the others put down on the table.
I see. Damn it, I underestimated the depth of this game. Oh no, my notes are such a mess. Can't even read my own handwriting. Once you acquire the skill of note-taking, you'll have a 70% chance to win this game. But even a 70% chance won't be enough to defeat me. Kind of knew I didn't stand a chance of winning the game, but I gradually started picking it up. Rena seemed to be getting her energy back as she played along. It was the right decision to force her to play with us today. Okay. While we were in the middle of the game, Chie-sensei came into the classroom. My, you look like you're having fun. Anyways, Ryuga-san here?
Oh?
You have a visitor. Who? What? Who? Who? Everybody looked puzzled. Parents sometimes showed up at school for some reason, but Chie-sensei never called them visitors. It's rare to have a visitor at school. Is it Oishi?
I wonder who it is. Well, I have to go. You can continue without me.
Rena left the classroom at a run. What should we do? Should we wait for her? Well, we don't know how long it's going to take. Rena told us we could continue, so let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're pink text again. Around the entrance, the glaring sun and the cool shade made for a clear contrast. Yep. An old man who's holding his jacket on his arm was waiting for me. It looked like he was overheating, and his tie was limp.
Are you Ryugu-san? Rena Ryugu-san?
Ever since Rena called me Rena, I've hated that name more than ever. Because of that, I didn't have a good first impression of this man.
Yes, that's me. May I ask who you are?
My car's air conditioning, so why don't we move into there? You know he was gonna mention that. You know he was gonna freaking mention this car having AC. Oh my god. Aren't you hot out here? He ignored my question and started walking towards the car parked in front of the school gate. If he wanted to talk about something normal, he would have used the teacher's office. But he wanted to talk in his car instead. Couldn't help but feel suspicious. Sensei let him see me, though. It meant he wasn't a suspicious individual as far as she was concerned. Who was he?
I don't bite, you know. Please, this way.
Called out to me while opening the rear door. Is he a policeman? Did the police find out that I killed those two? Hold on. Why do I only remember her killing one person? Did she kill another person? That I can't remember? She killed the aunt. Or not aunt, the whatever. And then... Oh, in the tough BF. Okay, right. Okay. I felt anxious all of a sudden. Was this what they called a voluntary interview? I didn't want to go in that car. If I rejected his offer, it'd only make me look suspicious. Prepared myself and got in. It was really cool inside his car.
Inside the car. Maybe because he has AC. Oh my gosh.
A car AC must cost a fortune. I guess back then, yeah. At least my father's car doesn't have one.
Please let me know if it's too cold. I like keeping it that way.
So, what's this talk about?
Retaliation, I ignored his question and got to the point like he did. He pulled a small notebook out of his breast pocket and flipped through it. He picked out a photo from it. The photo showed the face of a goofy-looking man. Is it TomiTK?
Please tell me if there's anything you know about this person.
The man in the picture was expressionless and looked half asleep. Sometimes you can't even recognize your own family members in a photo when they don't have an expression. So there's no way I would recognize a person who wasn't related to me. But anyway, that was a bit of a relief. This had nothing to do with Rena or her partner.
There were scribbles on his shirt, and we found the signatures of students at this school.
Oh wait, there were scribbles on his shirt. And we found the signatures of students at this school, including yours, Ryugu-san.
Is this TomiTK-san?
I don't feel his usual carefree unreliableness from this picture at all. From this half-awake, emotionless face.
How about this woman then?
I knew what he was going to show.
Her name is Mio-san. Mio Takano-san.
When did you see them last?
I think it was right after the what?
Oh wait. Oh my gosh, I always mix up who's talking.
Mio-san and Takano-san.
When did you see them last?
I think it was right after the Watsunagashi festival.
Did you notice anything strange? Anything? Please tell me.
Did something happen to them?
Yeah, it did.
I got it.
Tell you the truth, I wasn't sure if it was Rena or Mio. I know, I just chose to ignore it.
So you gambled? How risky. It doesn't matter how he won. What matters is that he won.
Oh, Rena, welcome back. What took you so long? Mio noticed that Rena had returned. She looked exhausted. I have no idea what she talked about with the visitor. It was obvious it wasn't something fun. Rena, are you okay?
What? What's okay? What?
Oh my gosh. I'm talking about you. You look pale. Are you sure you're alright? Rena tried to convince us she was fine, but her face clouded over for a moment, and she decided to leave early. Shouldn't have forced her to join the game. I was regretting it a little. Rena probably forced herself to play with us, even though she wasn't feeling well at all. Rena put all of her stuff in her bag, apologized to us for leaving early, and left the classroom.
Well, she's gone now. I guess we have to keep playing until we have a loser.
That's right. Whose turn is it?
Meep.
Okay, Rika-chan. Come on. Poor Rena. She's not able to open up to literally anyone. Not even her freaking friends. What color is this text? What is this text? Why are colors starting to appear? Is this... What? Tsumihoroboshi? First of all, I wasn't very close to Mio-san. I knew who she was, so I greeted her whenever we happened to pass by. But that was about it. White with a red border, vamps. Yeah? What? That's not white. That is not white. You can't tell me that's white. I never really talked to her except for that one time. And that time was only recently. It was between the day Watsunagashi Festival and the day I was caught in the act of burying the 2 corpses by Keiichi-kun and my other friends. I had a phone call from the library that evening, and I was told that my father needed to return the book he borrowed. He was shopping at the home improvement store at the time, so I went to the library to return the book for him. When I was there, I thought about borrowing some books for myself, and I started walking around the library. I saw her there.
Oh, Rena-chan. Hello. Mio-san? Hello to you too. I didn't expect to see you here.
Really? I was going to say the same thing. I always spend time here and I've never seen you. She smiled in a very attractive and charming way that only mature women can do. Her smile gave no indication that she knew her death was just a few days away. She said that she often met with Tomitake-san at the library. It seemed like she had some time to kill, so she told me she wanted to buy me a drink. I had nothing to do after that. I let her buy me a canned ice milk tea from the vending machine in the library. We talked for a little while. Once I came to think about it, it was a little ironic. She mostly talked about the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. She had no idea she was going to be the victim on its 5th year.
A series of mysterious deaths? You've heard about it at least once, haven't you? 4 years ago, the manager of the dam construction site was murdered. 3 years ago, the Hojo couple died. 2 years ago, the Furude couple died. And last year, it was Satoko-chan's aunt. A series of mysterious deaths have been going on for 4 years now. In a few days, it'll be the 5th. I've heard about it, but you don't know for sure that somebody will die this year?
I do. Somebody will die in a few days for sure. Yeah, it is Rena talking. There's the old saying, everything that happens twice will happen a 3rd time. So isn't it also true what happens 4 times will happen a 5th? Mio-san was convinced that the 5th mysterious death was going to happen, but she didn't know she was going to be the 5th victim. It's ironic, and also really creepy. There was always something creepy about her. So maybe she knew that she was going to be killed in a few days. Still managed to make that mysterious smile. A series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. Of course I know about it. I've lived here for more than a year. Every year on the day of Watsunagashi Festival, one trader of the village dies mysteriously. It's been that way since the dam conflict. Each case was solved individually, but mysterious incidents still happen every year. Makes me wonder if there's some kind of will to all this. Creepiness and incomprehensibility of it all gave rise to the name, the Curse of Oyashiro-sama, which fit perfectly. Despite this, I always thought the Curse of Oyashiro-sama was just a series of coincidences. A reason for that is because I strongly believe that Satoshi-kun was the one who murdered his aunt on the 4th year. Like, everybody knows he murdered his aunt. Just everybody knows. I don't have any evidence, but I just know it. I know that Satoshi-kun was in a serious predicament last year, and that he had nowhere else to turn. He had no one to help him, but he had to save Satoko-chan as soon as he could. Satoshi-kun thought it through and made the best choice he could to handle the situation, just like I did when I had my problem with Rena. I hesitated to inform Mio-san that Satoshi-kun was the murderer on the 4th year, so I just listened to her for a while. According to her theory, the series of mysterious deaths isn't just a set of coincidences, but is instead a series of interrelated murder cases. At that point, my theory was completely the opposite of hers, but I decided not to cut in. You know about the cult of a Yashida-sama here in Hinamizawa, don't you? Takano-san started telling me that Hinamizawa was once called Onigafuchi. He also explained the story of how the villagers were in the old days, showing me the scrapbook she was so proud of. The villagers back then were called man-eating demons. They were also admired as transcendents, enlightened people not bound by earthly desires.
So, according to your theory, a group of cultists who worship Oyashida-sama are living in Hinamizawa? And they're trying to show the power of their god by enacting the series of mysterious deaths, right? I'm not sure if we should call them cultists or fundamentalists. The line between them is very vague. In the Meiji era, when the name of the village was changed to Hinamizawa, customs and the traditions of Onigafuchi were brought to an end. I think there are some people who want to revive those traditions and regain the name and awe of Onigafuchi. Mio-san's theory was more than a little crazy, but it was also fascinating. At first, her theory sounded like she was just jumping to conclusions, but after she eagerly showed me the documents she'd been studying, I started to think that it wasn't actually too far from the truth. If her theory was true, it would mean that the accidental deaths of the Hojo couple in the 2nd year, the suicide and the death of disease by the Furude couple in the 3rd year, and the drug addict murderer in the 4th year were all cooked up. I mean, somebody who had a lot of power and influence over the police was involved. When I pointed that out, Mio-san nodded in agreement. She started talking about how strongly they were rooted in the village, and how deeply they were involved with many public organizations. Oh god. They? What? The Sonozakis? Or... She's a 4chan conspiracy theorist. That's the vibe I was getting as well. After she finished explaining all that, I finally noticed that Mio-san was suggesting that the 3 families, including the Sonozaki family, were the masterminds behind the murder incidents. In fact, the Sonozaki family really is very powerful. They hold influence not only over Hinamizawa and Okinomiya, but also over the entire Shishibone area. Might not be wrong to say that they even hold influence over the entire prefecture. If the Sonozaki family is behind all this, her theory would be more realistic. But that means I should be suspicious of Mi-chan. No, I shouldn't. But in fact, Mi-chan was very cold and unkind to Satoshi-kun when he was going through a tough time. I know there was a conflict between the Sonozaki family and the Hojo family during the Dam Wars. But still, she was very cold to Satoshi-kun. But Mi-chan admitted that what she did was wrong. And I forgave her too. I didn't want to think about that again. I decided to change the subject because I knew it would make me feel uncomfortable if we kept talking about the Sonozaki family. First of all, what's this people's belief in Oyashida-sama all about?
Oh wait, yeah, it's still Takano talking.
It's a little funny that demons and humans wanted to coexist. In folktales, humans usually try to wipe out the demons.
Or is that... Who's freaking talking?
That's quite true.
That's why Oyashida-sama is also interesting. However, there are actually many stories that say people in the old days worshipped a god that had drifted to our world from the land of the gods. It's the worship of drifted gods, in other words. There are a number of myths all over the world about people worshipping a god who came from beyond the sea or from up a river.
The gods in those myths are actually people who came from different countries, right?
That's the general theory, yes. Ancient Japanese culture was far behind that of other nations. When Japanese people in those days saw a foreigner from a developed country, they were so impressed by the knowledge the person had that they started worshipping them as a god. That's one theory. Oh my god. Really? That's real? Interesting.
I've heard that red oni and blue oni were actually foreigners who drifted ashore in Japan because their boats got shipwrecked. The Japanese have created tengu out of foreigners too. They probably saw a foreigner who had reddish skin with a very long nose.
Wow, you're pretty sharp, Ren-chan. I agree with you. I think most drifted god worship are based on encounters with foreigners. If that's so, Onigafushi's drifted god worship would have a contradiction. Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
It's easy. Onigafushi isn't adjacent to the sea.
Oh, of course.
In order to have any connection to foreigners, the place in question must also have a connection to the outside world. In Western countries, that connection would be rivers running between adjacent countries. Japan, that connection would be the ocean. So, most of the drifted god stories in Japan originated near the shores.
Isn't there a possibility that the foreigner washed ashore somewhere else first, then traveled to Onigafushi?
Well, the thing about the worship of Oyashiro-sama is, it specifically pinpoints Onigafushi Swamp as the place where the demons first appeared. The swamp isn't connected to any rivers, so how could a foreigner wash up there? That's why the mystery of Oyashiro-sama is so interesting. I got nothing with that.
How much do you know about the legend of Oyashiro-sama? I just read a picture book about it in school.
I feel like I know a lot about it, but I actually don't. I just have an extreme fear of the rule not to leave Hinamizawa. After all, my life went wrong after I left. I felt dizzy when I tried to think about it further, so I stopped. And everything went wrong in Ibaraki. I met Oyashiro-sama, and he told me to go back to Hinamizawa. No, I'll get dizzy. Don't try to remember. Don't try to remember. I can't remember. I got desperate because I felt responsible for the divorce. I just used Oyashiro-sama as an excuse for my mental instability, and I told my father I wanted to go back to Hinamizawa, right? But wait... Oyashiro-sama did come to me. Oh no, the colors are too dazzling. I can only remember the vivid colors of the pills and the dizziness. Oh my goodness. How many more chapters of Higu are there? There's this, and 2 more. So, in total, there's 8.
That's all you need to know.
The demons came out of Onigafushi Swamp, and they attacked the villagers. Oyashiro-sama saw it and came down to save the villagers from the demons by exiling them to hell. The demons cried, and the villagers felt bad for them. They decided to let the demons live in the village with them. Oyashiro-sama was impressed by the kind hearts of the villagers, so he gave human forms to the demons and let them coexist. The blood of the demons blended with that of the villagers as they lived alongside each other.
That's exactly what I read in the book.
I felt dizzy, like I was going to faint, because I touched the one memory I didn't want to. Higurashi, cultured? Thank you. That's what I think. Very, very cultured. People say that most myths are based on an event of some sort that happened long ago. What event do you think is the truth behind this myth? Because I was still feeling dizzy, all I could do was tilt my head quizzically. It seemed like Mio-san was expecting that response, because she smiled, looking satisfied that she successfully made me confused. She took a scrapbook out of her paper bag. I'll let you borrow this for a while.
Thank you, but
Don't worry, just read it when you have some time to kill. I want to know what you think about the things written in the scrapbook. I'd like to know, even if you disagree with me, because you are very sharp. Jiro-san isn't interested in things like this at all, so I appreciate your input. I had little choice but to take the scrapbook. Apparently Mio-san came to the library often, so I figured I could return it to her whenever I came to return my books. However, the day I'd return the scrapbook to Mio-san never came. Ugh. Plan on watching the anime after the VN? We were doing the thing where after we read it through a chapter, we just watch the equivalent anime episodes. It's interesting. I still like the anime, as I did before, but it's so crazy how quick they run through stuff. It's unreal. Like, they hit all the main points, but that's about it, you know?
What's wrong?
You don't look good. Are you feeling okay?
I caught a summer cold. I'm still recovering from it.
It wasn't the summer cold that was making me feel dizzy. I always get dizzy when I try to remember the time I met Oyashida-sama in Ibaraki. I mustered all my courage and asked her. My memory of those days in Ibaraki is blurry. I know I met Oyashida-sama. Nobody believed me, and they told me that it was a hallucination. But I thought Mio-san would listen to me.
Mio-san? Can I talk to you about something?
Yes, of course. You listen to me, so it's my turn to listen to you.
Well, it's about Oyashida-sama. You might laugh at me.
I won't. You didn't laugh at me either. Mio-san said it in a very gentle and mature way, and that encouraged me. Even so, I still hesitated to talk. There was probably nobody but Mio-san with whom I could talk about something like this. I gathered my courage again and spoke.
I have met Oyashida-sama.
You have?
Yes. I used to live in Hinamizawa until right before I went to elementary school. My mother got a job in Ibaraki, so we moved. Well, you know what that means, right?
Yes, I do. You broke the rule of Oyashida-sama, which is to never leave Hinamizawa.
That's right. And then, many things happened. My mother divorced my father, and my family was broken. I got desperate and did some bad things.
It must have been terrible. Then what happened?
I started hating everything in the world. I started feeling like everybody who's happy was looking down on me. That's when a mysterious existence started to appear.
You mean Oyashida-sama?
First time it came to me was, please don't tell anybody about this. It's when I started injuring myself by cutting my body with a knife. I cut my neck and something very dirty and gross came out with the blood from the wound. It was,
I'm not going to laugh. Go on. The chill I felt at that time came back to me. I sealed that memory away so I wouldn't have to remember ever again. Once I unsealed it, I started remembering things one after another. Yes, back then, there was something in the blood. Something crawling.
It was countless dark red maggots. They squirmed up and out of my neck with each drop of blood.
Oh, gross.
They wanted to stay in my body, so they crawled back in through the cut.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's ew.
I didn't want those creepy things to get back in my body, so I clawed at the cut of my neck to get them out. But it hurt so much, and it only made my hands and neck bloody. I got scared all of a sudden.
I was scared because I thought there were many nasty maggots in my blood vessels.
So I cut a blood vessel on my thigh just to see how it looked. I thought I could see it better if it was my thigh. Then they oozed out of there too. So many of them.
I understand, Ryuga-san. So please calm down.
No, you don't understand. The maggots came out with my blood. Then they tried to get back inside my veins. It really, really itches. Ah.
Please bring a doctor. No, don't claw at it like that. Bring me a sedative. Hurry. Hold her down. Please kill the maggots in my veins. Please take all the blood out of my body and flush my veins out. There's so many of them in there. Why don't you believe me? I'll show you. You'll believe me if you see them, right? I don't want to get any more shots. No. I don't think there is a IRL condition of having maggots inside of your veins. You know, I think that's just a Higurashi thing. Calm down.
Okay.
Mio-san sat next to me. I held my hands tightly. Her touch brought me back to reality.
So, what happened? Nobody believed me, but then he showed up. Oyashida-sama came to me.
Memory was very vague, and I saw flickering lights. It made it difficult for me to remember.
I met Oyashida-sama.
That sentence is all I remembered. The memory of actually meeting Oyashida-sama was unbelievably vague. After I got out of the hospital, I continued being treated at home. Still felt something moving in my veins, so I wanted to cut my body to make the blood ooze out, so I could make sure there was no maggots in there. Usually I was sleeping like the dead because of the strong pills I was taking. One day, I forgot to take the pill. My consciousness was very clear. I felt the maggots moving in my veins, and I felt the urge to look inside. I cut a vein on my wrist. I knew it. A lot of blood and many dusky red maggots came out from the wound. I wanted to wash them off before they crawled back inside of me, so I put my wrist under the running water in the bathroom sink and tried to open the vein. Oh my god. That's schizophrenia, bro. Literally. I found out there was a condition of feeling blood bugs in your skin even though you don't. Oh, yeah. No, that's a thing. That I'm pretty sure that's a schizophrenia thing, actually. But... oof. Water, blood, and maggots ran down into the drain. Just like squeezing out the pus from a pimple, I squeezed the vein to get rid of the dirty blood and the maggots. I kept doing it. My arm started to feel numb, and I felt cold, but I kept doing it. I thought I might die from losing too much blood, but I kept doing it. My body was filled with maggots. I had to squeeze all my blood out of me. Jesus. Well, it's understandable that her parents were freaking out when seeing this. And then a very bright light shone upon me. It was a very bizarre sensation. I never experienced anything like that in my life. All of a sudden, the dark bathroom was filled with a bright light. It was very bright, but gentle. It wasn't like the light from the merciless fluorescent bulb. It was very warm and gentle. That was Yashiro-sama. Yashiro-sama was looking at me with gentleness and sadness in his eyes. As he touched my wound, the maggot started melting and disappeared in front of my eyes. That wasn't all. All the maggots that were moving throughout my veins disappeared too. Yashiro-sama taught me. These maggots were the curse. People of the demon's blood can't live outside Hinamizawa. It's the rule. Fortunately, you've been cursed. Very sad, and I feel sorry for you. There's only one way to save you. That's what he said. What should I do? The answer was very simple. All I needed to do was go back to Hinamizawa. I unconsciously knew that before I heard it from Oyashiro-sama. People who were born in Hinamizawa must never leave. But I broke Oyashiro-sama's rules, and I left Hinamizawa. That's why my family was broken, and I lost my mind. If I hadn't left Hinamizawa, nothing would have gone wrong. And so, I had to go back. Oyashiro-sama also told me this. He could make the maggots, the embodiment of the curse, disappear. But only temporarily, because I lived far from Hinamizawa. After a while, the power of Oyashiro-sama would fade away, and the curse would start eating my body again. If that happened, the maggots would take over my body, and I would go insane and die. I must go back to Hinamizawa before his power to hold down the curse faded away. That's what Oyashiro-sama told me. He did. I heard him tell me that. I should have gone back to Hinamizawa earlier. That's why Oyashiro-sama came to me to put his curse on me. But he gave me a chance. He gave me a chance to pay for my sin of leaving Hinamizawa. Dad, listen. Oyashiro-sama is going to help us. Let's go back to Hinamizawa. Hinamizawa is the place where we must live. If we don't, not only me, but you might be cursed too. Let's go back to Hinamizawa. That's the only place where we can live. We need to hurry. We need to hurry, or Oyashiro-sama's power will fade away and my body will be eaten by the maggots. Oh no. Oyashiro-sama is following me. He's telling me to hurry. He follows me everywhere and keeps telling me to hurry. He keeps apologizing to me for putting his curse on me. He follows me everywhere and keeps apologizing. I'm telling you the truth. I am. Why can't anybody see it? Why can't they see the maggots or Yashiro-sama? Everybody is trying to fool me. I know they can see them too. No, no, please stop. I don't want to get another shot. Literal schizophrenia. She needs help. Professional help. Goodness. But, you know, help for that back in, what, 70s, 80s? It wasn't the best. Are you okay? I was breathing hard and Mio-san was holding my shoulders. I could feel that the terrible memory I'd been trying to forget was awakening. Doctors told me the memory was just my delusion. Told me that since I blamed myself for the divorce, I unconsciously had the desire to blame someone else for it. And I unconsciously connected that desire to the folktale of Oyashiro-sama that I read when I was little. I got drug treatment, received counseling, and waited. I gradually got better, and that proved the things I saw were just a hallucination. The doctors asked my father to consider moving to Hinamizawa if possible. Fortunately, he wanted to change his living environment to heal his pain from the divorce as well. Punched? What do you mean, punched? But honestly, moving back to Hinamizawa was probably the worst thing he could have done. Right? So we came back to Hinamizawa. After we came back to Hinamizawa, I felt it. Felt it in my bones that this is the place we should live. I mean, Rena seems better now, so it kind of worked, but she talked about, she said that, like, she got drug treatment, counseling, and waited, and got better, and that proved the things I saw were just a hallucination. So she would have gotten better anyway if they just stayed away from Hinamizawa, and moving to Hinamizawa made it worse. Right? And I also felt Oyashiro-sama's blessing. I definitely felt it. I felt the curse of Oyashiro-sama starting to break. I was free. After I moved here, I went to the clinic in Gogura for a while. The doctor gave me the same poisonous-looking pills, and I kept taking them for a while. Terrible memory gradually became unclear. Whenever I tried to remember it, I could only remember the strong side effect of the pills. It made me dizzy. That's how I regained my peace. And then, I changed my name, Rena. The reason was because my name reminded me of those bad memories. I didn't want to have anything icky in my life anymore. So I came up with the idea of taking icky things out. After I took the I out of icky out from my name, Rena, there was only Re and Na left. And that's how Rena was born. I liked that. When I was introduced to my classmates, I told them to call me Rena. Since then, that had been my name. I'm living my new life as Rena. I cut away all the sad things that happened when I was Rena. My father still calls me Rena, but I don't feel bad as long as it's just my father and my relatives. But then, Rena came into my life one day, and she called me Rena. Because she called me Rena, those colored lights started flickering again. I should stop. I should forget about it. The lights were still flickering. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, was I panicking that badly?
You were muttering to yourself. I'm glad you calmed down. Judging by Mio-san's reaction, I wasn't panicking as badly as I thought I was. But I probably had those panicked hallucinations several times. If I started screaming and yelling like I once did, they'd take me away to a hospital again for sure.
I'm certain I met Oyashiro-sama. I saw the maggots. It's hard to believe, right?
Mio-san smiled, looking a little confused. Couldn't blame her. Didn't expect her to believe it. I'm sure it was just a strange memory I created for myself and my hallucinations. Can't believe I can't trust myself. That's the worst feeling of all. Rena-chan, first of all, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yes?
I'm talking about the curse you're afraid of, and the maggots that you saw in your blood. According to what Oyashiro-sama said, you're free from them as long as you stay in Hinamizawa, right?
Yes, that's what he said.
Then you don't have to be scared. You don't have to worry about anything. You're in Hinamizawa right now. Well, this library is in Okinomiya, but it's very close to Hinamizawa. I'm sure it's okay with Oyashiro-sama. I'm sure it's okay. You don't feel anything moving in your veins right now, do you?
No, I don't.
So there's nothing to worry about. You're following Oyashiro-sama's rules. There's nothing you should be scared of, is there? Right?
No.
No. I didn't know until then that she was such a warm-hearted person. Sorry if you hear dogs barking. I met many doctors and talked to them about this. They always ignored me and didn't really listen. All they did was give me a shot of the drug I hated. On the other hand, Mio-san didn't deny my story or the existence of Yashiro-sama. People in this village whisper behind her back that she's a little crazy. But she was actually a very kind person, I thought. Rena-chan, I believe everything you just told me.
Thank you so much. You're the first one to ever say that to me.
So are you. The first one who didn't laugh at me and listen to me so seriously. Think we can be good friends. Mio-san smiled, touching my head with hers. Well, I'll let you borrow my secret files and my scrapbooks. These are top secret. I didn't want to show these to anybody, but you're special. Think I could trust you. I know you'll take them seriously. She took a few scrapbooks out of her paper bag and handed them to me. Let me know what you think after you read them. There might be something in them that only you can understand. Mio-san was acting mysteriously. She smiled mischievously, put her index finger on her lips as a sign to keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody about these scrapbooks or that I'm studying this, okay?
We're keeping this a secret? Okay, I got it.
If they find out I've been studying this, they might get rid of me. Oh, she knows she's gonna die and she's handing them over. That could definitely be what this is. If she knows everything. So hello, new person. What a way to start. Hee 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 hee. She laughed after she said that. They might erase her. That's what she said. And she went missing. She left me her scrapbooks. But that's not all there is to it. It's the way Tomitake-san died. Oishi-san said he committed suicide because of a state of excitation caused by using some kind of drug. But I know what really happened. I didn't tell Oishi-san about it. I don't think he'd believe me even if I told him. Without a doubt, Tomitake-san died trying to get rid of the maggots. It was nothing other than the curse of a Yashiro-sama. To never leave Hinamizawa isn't the only rule of a Yashiro-sama. There are more. He might have broken one of them without knowing it. Oishi-san told me. Tomitake-san was taking pictures with his camera flash on during the sacred ritual dance, and some people got mad at him for it. Did Yashiro-sama put his curse on Tomitake because he violated the sacred ritual dance? It might be for another reason. Anyway, he died from the curse of Yashiro-sama, without a doubt. That's a crazy connection. Yeah, I guess so. This is one of the things that I knew about beforehand. Because like, I remember I remember very little about, like, the reasons for these things, but I do remember this. Did that mean Yashiro-sama put his curse on Mio-san too? Investigating the gods is the same as getting close to the gods. It's disrespecting them. But Mio-san told me that they might get rid of her if they found out about her investigation. By they, she meant humans. Plus, according to her theory, the three families are a conspiracy to revive the faith of Yashiro-sama. But I can tell by the way Tomitake-san died that it was all the act of the curse. I'm certain about that, because I experienced the curse myself. I don't know if you remember, because it was way back. In the second or first chapter. One of those two. I think it's the first chapter. Keiichi, after murdering, like, Mio and Rena, he goes crazy. And he, claws out his own throat. And that's how the chapter ends. So, you know, another connection. And at first glance, it seemed incompatible with those theories. those conspiracy theories about human beings. Remember that Oishi-san told me something about some kind of drug that can make a person commit suicide? So did the three families have a secret drug that can cause the curse of a Yashiro-sama? It's impossible. Plus, I didn't get any shots of a suspicious drug like that. And Rena said she first cut her neck, right? Yeah, she did. I had a normal life in Ibaraki. I wasn't involved with the Sonozaki family or the Kimiyoshi family. Oishi-san asked me a favor. He asked me to tell him secretly if I saw or heard anything suspicious. Could be about Mi-chan, Rika-chan, or anybody in the village. Mio-san believed my story about Yashiro-sama, and now she's gone. Kamitaka-san died by doing the same thing I did. Oh, no, no, no. I don't want to get involved with the curse of Yashiro-sama. Is this a conspiracy of a group of fanatical cult members? Or is it the curse of Yashiro-sama? Is everything just a set of coincidences? Maybe it's a mixture of a conspiracy and the curse. I don't know. Is it the work of humans? The curse? Or coincidence? Oh no, even the light of the sunset was making me feel dizzy. When did the sunlight hitting Mizawa get so mean? Mio-san told me to keep her investigation a secret. I have her top secret scrapbooks. They might hold the truth about everything. When I realized that, I got scared all of a sudden. I might end up the same way as Mio-san, because I have her scrapbooks. If it's a conspiracy, I'll be erased. If it's the cursed, I'll be cursed. If it's the curse, I'll be cursed. I should burn the scrapbooks. That's the safest thing to do. But Mio-san believed my story. Mio-san listened to me without laughing. I feel wrong to burn them without taking a look. If it's a conspiracy, I have to expose it. If it's a curse, I have to break it. I shouldn't run away. I should fight. That's right, I decided to fight to seize my happiness. I shouldn't give in to misfortunes. I have to fight. I'm going to get rid of all the things that are trying to ruin my peaceful life. I'm going to read your scrapbooks when I get home. I started walking faster. And then, those are probably the tips. Right? All in her books. Shion also. Wait, lunch takeout list. I don't think that's very plot relevant. What the heck? Icky things. Believe in a conspiracy. Ooh. I love getting achievements in these games because it lets me know how long is left. how much is left. So I still have so much left. We're like halfway through, which is crazy. So I thought we'd be done as soon as Rena murdered the freaking bad lady. We're gonna look at tip. Lunch takeout list. Cool. I love lunch. Speaking of lunch, at Kuroda Mental Clinic. Hello. To get straight to the point, we can assume that this is an acute case of post-traumatic stress disorder. The patient is subject to tremendous stress because of her parents' sudden divorce, and being forced to choose to live with either her mother or her father. Furthermore, the patient firmly believes that she was responsible for her parents' divorce, which further drives her to self-mutilation. The patient's largest shock stems from a sense of betrayal of her own household, which she believed was an absolute safe haven. Henceforth, there is a high possibility that the patient will resort to psychological defense measures to protect her family. For example, she might feel high disdain for any person of the opposite sex who approaches her father. She might feel uncomfortable about having other people in her home. She might also display eccentric behavior in order to keep people away from it. As an example of the latter, there are reported cases of patients unconsciously bringing home garbage. Oh, wow. It's highly important that the patient remains in close communication with her father. By deepening communication between the two of them, it will strengthen their family bond and loosen up her anxiety. Since the patient only shown signs of an acute syndrome in this case, it's a very good chance that she'll recover within 3 months with her father's support and proper medication. However, it's common for a patient who seemed to have recovered to have sudden reoccurrence, a flashback, even after 10 years. Her father was still fairly young, and there's still a chance that he could remarry. However, seeing an unfamiliar member of the opposite sex through remarriage could trigger a flashback in the patient, which may lead to avoidance behavior or hyper-awareness, Or her literally murdering them. Maybe. I'm new in the stream for the first time. Nice to meet you. Hi. Getting a lot of those today. Very interesting. I can't tell if they're bots or real. Please explain this part thoroughly to the father in order for him to understand the recovery process. Should the father decide to remarry, it's recommended that he should hold off in telling the patient until she reaches an age where she is capable of living independently. Also, the cause of the patient's psychosomatic self-mutilating behavior, delusional parasitosis, seems to be its own culture-bound syndrome. The patient blindly believes that leaving her home village will cause a curse, and that this curse was the cause of her parents' divorce. We believe that this is a subconscious defense mechanism to reduce her mental trauma by shifting the blame from herself to her village's curse. According to the patient's statement, the culture of her home village is extremely strict and exclusive. The patient believes that there is no way to be saved from the curse other than going back to the village, as the curse will continue as long as she lives in her current environment. Through this, we can see an inclination of schizophrenia, and believe the chances are high that the patient will continue to alter their perceived reality. Get wrecked. I said all of this, right? I'm so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so good. I said all of that before. Schizophrenia, a case where a person's personality is reduced, causing altered perception of reality and delusions. Yes, we know what schizophrenia is. Delusion about the maggots dwelling in her blood is a perfect example. It's also the cause of her psychosomatic self-mutilating behavior. When a delusion involves psychosomatic self-mutilating behavior, it's extremely dangerous. I highly recommend for the father to move back to the village if he's financially capable. Allowing her to live with relatives in the village might also work. Such a strong belief can induce symptoms such as self-mutilation, and there might be other cases similar to this one. Perhaps prior medical files that document similar culture-bound syndromes may be available at a large medical institution or in her local area. It'll then be possible to provide better, more accurate mental care for the patient by obtaining these case files. This B5 sized letter was with a bunch of memos. Following was on the backside of the letter. Ah. What? Why would they put lunch stuff on the backside of something so important? What? I don't understand. Because that seems like a very important document. Why would they... They forgot? No way they forgot. They probably just were like, oh, I'm doing business. And then... But I question, why show us? Just for the joke? No, they always show stuff like this. Just stuff that explains more, you know? They always do stuff like that. There's worse tips where they show stuff and I'm like, why? I didn't think that one. I thought that one was pretty good. That's just the mental evaluation of Rena. That's pretty important. Lunch orders explain stuff? Oh no, that. The lunch thing? I could see it as the doctor or person, whoever, writing this all down as a note, and then just going on with his day and writing a lunch thing on the other side. Probably to show that he isn't too focused on this one case, and he's got a lot of other stuff going on, maybe. I'm not sure. That's just my 2 cents. I'm gonna take a sip of water and then keep going. Alright. Let's freaking go. Oh, I talk so much. About homing ability and homesickness. If you interpret homing ability in a broad sense, you can say that most animals have a homing ability. It's the same with humans. We like to sleep, rest, and eat at a place where we feel comfortable, namely our homes. Your home is to you what nests are to animals. Therefore, we can say that humans have a homing ability as well. First of all, why do animals need nests? The answer is the same for humans. Sleeping, resting, and eating are the essential actions for survival. At the same time, those actions leave one defenseless as well. That's why you need a safe area where you can be defenseless. Everybody knows that not having this safe area results in a high level of stress. When you move an animal to a new environment, it naturally becomes stressed. When you force a person to live in a foreign land where they aren't comfortable, they become greatly stressed as well. Everybody also knows that this kind of stress is called homesickness. The Japanese don't know much about homesickness. We defined it as a mental weakness, and we neglected to treat it for a long period of time. However, homesickness has a very long history. In Europe's Middle Ages, people believed that it wasn't a mental, but a rather physical disease. People also believe that out of everyone, the Swiss got the disease the most. Huh? Okay. The Swiss, you see, were known to be an ethnic group that worked away from home in that era. They lived far away from their homes. There were no telephones at that time, so they couldn't even hear their families' voices for ages and ages. It's easy to imagine that the young Swiss workers got homesick while working in a strange land. These Swiss who got homesick wanted to go home, but they couldn't because of their jobs. Conflict made them weak physically and mentally. Some of them went crazy and tried to escape from the reality by committing suicide or running away. The Swiss at the time were very superstitious. Many folk remedies and occult-like treatments to prevent homesickness went around. Since going home was the only treatment, they must have called it a fatal disease. But it isn't really one, of course. Specifically, homesickness is a sign of that human homing instinct. Your brain desires to go back to your safe area, namely, your home. At first, your brain makes you remember the happy memories of your home, and it urges you to go home in a natural way. But when reason stops you from achieving your desire, your brain starts sending unnatural signals to your body. As a result, your body gets weak, and that makes it more difficult for you to live in a strange land. In the end, you have to bend reason in order to achieve your desire to go home. This is so interesting because I genuinely cannot tell if what is being said is real or research-backed. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing it is, because a lot of the stuff they explain in the game is, like, real. So, I wonder. So, homesickness is born from our homing instincts. The stronger one's homing instinct is, the stronger their homesickness. The strength of that homing instinct varies from individual to individual, depends on the environment in which those individuals live. When your home is safe and the environment you live in is dangerous, your homing instinct grows stronger. On the other hand, when the environment you live in is safer than your homing instinct becomes very weak. Safety isn't the only element that affects its strength. Cultural aspects affect it too. Many customs demanding families to return home for major events varies with each region, so your birthplace's culture also alters the strength of your homing instinct. Amongst those regions, the transcendents of Onigafuchi village were believed to have an excessively strong homing instinct. The people of Onigafuchi forbade their fellows from ever leaving. Many believed that this was an effect of the elitism and sense of purity I had already mentioned before. People today still strongly believe that Oyashiro-sama puts his curse on you if you break his rule and abandon the village. This superstition can be interpreted as homesickness. Homesickness is directly proportional to one's homing instinct, and the exaggerated expression, curse, would signify the strength of that homesickness, and also their homing instinct. You can assume that they hated the outside world and created an insular society precisely because of their powerful homing instinct. Unfortunately, there's no way to measure the strength of the homing ability that the primitive people of Onigafuchi had. It was so strongly forbidden to leave the village that nobody left long enough to get homesick. However, after the Meiji era, things changed. The sacredness of Onigafuchi dwindled with the efforts of modernization. Many young people started longing for city life. Some people were forced to leave the village to get a job. As a result, villagers started venturing outside the village borders. That was when the transcendents of Onigafuchi realized how strong their homing ability was for the first time. Residents of Hinamizawa got extremely homesick. After a while, people started to call this homesickness the curse of Oyashiro-sama. It became rumored that a person who left the village to get a job in a strange land was cursed, that he went crazy and died. People who left the village started coming back to either it or the nearby town. Their homesickness and their homing ability were very strong because of their culture. It's reasonable to think that these were cultivated by a unique religion in Hinamizawa, namely the cult of a Yashiro-sama. From the moment they were born, they were taught the rules of a Yashiro-sama. They must have felt guilty about leaving the village unconsciously. The result, they considered their homesickness to be the curse of a Yashiro-sama. Not sure if their homesickness got stronger because of the rules of a Yashiro-sama, or if they made the rules of a Yashiro-sama because their homesickness got stronger. I don't know which came first. I got tired of reading such small print and lay down on the floor on my back. The true identity of the curse of a Yashiro-sama is homesickness? Mio-san believed my story, and she let me read these scrapbooks, so I expected to find something interesting. What it's saying is that the answer to it all is homesickness, which many doctors told me so many times at counseling. I'm a little upset. Oh, no way, the doctors already thought that? Yeah, what the heck? The word homesickness can't explain the extraordinary experience I had. I saw Yashiro-sama come down to me from a bright light in the bathroom. I saw the dusty red, nasty maggots come out of my blood vessels. The scrapbook doesn't explain any of that. I don't understand how Mio-san was going to explain the cloud of maggots. Maybe she didn't have any explanation to that to begin with. Was it just a delusion? Flip through one of the other scrapbooks Mio-san let me borrow, looking for an explanation of the maggots I saw. Then, I found it. The exact title I was looking for. About maggots and the curse of Yashiro-sama. In the Meiji era, a group of villagers were on their way back to Hinamizawa, and they started discussing a rumor about a weird disease. They said that maggots started crawling out of the wounds of a person who left Hinamizawa, and that the maggots ate a person's body from the inside. The Shinto priest of the Furude shrine at the time explained that the weird disease was a sign of the curse of Yashiro-sama. According to tradition, the Shinto priest showed the villagers an ancient scroll, and he told them the story of the maggots had been passed down through the ages. This is what the scroll said. The world where the demons came from must be interpreted as the land of death. The demons in that land of death had to live their lives while being eaten by maggots. The villagers, who are of the demon's blood, had nothing to worry about as long as they lived in Hinamizawa under the protection of a Yashiro-sama. Once they left Hinamizawa, abandoning that protection, the maggots that had been sleeping in the blood of the demons would start to awaken, and they'd eat their bodies from the inside out. This maggot disease scared the villagers for a while, and they asked the shrine to provide them with protective talismans whenever they had to leave the village on business. This is interesting, as it's similar to the way homesickness was dealt with by the Swiss in the Middle Ages. After the war started, the delusion of the maggot disease faded away, but there remained a custom to send talismans to families that lived away from Hinamizawa. Talismans had the word maggot written on them. But the most interesting part about all this is that the residents of Hinamizawa didn't know about the maggot disease until the rumors began. I'd thought that their unconscious worship made those people think of homesickness as a curse. So this case of a previously unknown maggot disease directly contradicted the research I'd done so far. It's natural to think that the group of people who were on their way back to the village were lost in a mass delusion because they strongly believed in the curse, that the Shinto priest took advantage of their state of panic to install deeper faith in them. But I'm not fully convinced that it was merely coincidence that this mass delusion matched with the story in the old picture scroll. So she's saying that the priest started the rumor, which made it a real, in a sense, that it just spread around and the belief in it was so strong that they saw it, even though there was nothing there. So this seems completely like that could happen. I wonder if it's possible to see maggots in a wound without having the prerequisite knowledge when a person is cursed by Yashiro-sama. I wish Yashiro-sama would put his curse on someone I could study. I'd love to see those maggots coming out of someone. Yeah, I don't think that. Felt as if Mio-san was here making that request of me. I remember. She gave me the scrapbooks. She said that I might be the only one who could understand them. Felt good just for a moment, because I found out that the maggots weren't a delusion. I mean, they were. They literally were. Maggot disease isn't real. But at the same time, it destroyed my excuse that it was a delusion. Maggots weren't a delusion. They were there. All of a sudden, my wrists, elbows, inner thighs, and neck started itching. Felt the urge to cut open a blood vessel, but I quietly held it down. Remember that Mio-san looked very serious when I talked about the maggots. She must have thought it was creepy. So did I. I was crying because nobody believed me. Part of me didn't want to believe that my body was filled with those creepy things. I think a part of me wanted to believe that it was a delusion. And now I know it wasn't. It wasn't a delusion. There's some people who had the same experience. Just because they had the same experience doesn't mean it wasn't a delusion. Shared delusions, mass delusions, definitely exist in a closed-off freaking population. They're more likely in a closed-off population like that. Everybody knows about the freaking French people who died because they danced too much. It happens. Or used to happen anyway. I think stuff like this happening is a lot harder. A lot harder to have manifest because of how interconnected everybody is with the rest of the world. No one is that closed off anymore to where it could get that bad that fast, you know? Of course it still happens in farm villages and small villages, whatever like that. But I think it's harder. Rena doesn't know this though. Also, she's crazy. Also, she's crazy. That's true. That's true. You got me there. Maggots in the demon's blood will awaken when you lose the protection of a Yashiro-sama. In other words, they may not awaken under the protection of a Yashiro-sama, but all the villagers have the maggots in them without them knowing it. People of the demon's blood are people who have the creepy maggots in their bodies. Try not to jump to conclusions and flip the pages again. But TomoTake wasn't born there. Keiichi wasn't born there. But they still had that happen to them. I unconsciously looked for something related to maggots. About parasites and control of the host. The maggot disease made me think about something. Is it possible to say that the extremely strong homesickness of Hinamizawa was an infectious disease caused by some kind of parasite? I'm not trying to connect the maggots they saw with parasites. I'm trying to think about the possibility that their culture, their religion, might be associated with an infectious disease. Many infectious diseases are caused unintentionally by parasites. A parasite's host is literally its home. It wants to live within its host body for as long as it can. The best way to do that is to coexist with the host without the host knowing it. Some parasites try to control their hosts and use them for prosperity. For example, some parasites have an ability to control their host in order to force them to be eaten by a superior host. Toxoplasmosis. Cat-loving disease. Typical example is the Dioscelium dendriticum. It uses snails or ants as intermediate hosts, and it forces them to move to the upper side of the vegetation, so it's easier for a superior host to consume it. Amen. Shut up. Oh my god, no way. One parasite that controls more complicated animals is called Toxoplasma gondii. Kitty disease. Toxoplasmosis, that's not it. Toxoplasma gondii. Uses mice as intermediate hosts, with superior hosts being cats. Parasite makes a mouse lose its fear of cats in order to increase the chance of getting eaten, so the parasite can live within a cat instead. There are parasites that choose hosts at random. Rabies virus is commonly known for that. It lives and breathes in the brain of a host, and it moves into the host's saliva through salivary glands. It makes the host extremely aggressive in order to make it bite things randomly, so it in turn can move into other hosts through the saliva. That's what rabies does. Many parasites have a similar ability to control hosts to their benefit. The examples I used above are about parasites that move into other hosts to prosper. But I think there must be some kind of parasite that controls its host to have a comfortable environment in which to live. I want to try to connect this theory to the abnormal homing ability and homesickness of the Onigafuchi residents. Let's say there's some kind of parasite that exists in Hinamizawa, and it lives within all the villagers' bodies. For the parasite, Hinamizawa is the most comfortable environment to live in, so it gives the host a strong homing ability in order to make them stay in Hinamizawa. Furthermore, it causes the host to get homesick whenever they ignore this homing ability and try to leave. Parasites need hosts in which to live. It's convenient for them if their hosts build a community in the environment where it feels comfortable. This theory makes it easier for me to explain the mysteries I described earlier. The Transcendents of Onagafachi knew about the existence of this parasite. They knew that, as hosts of this parasite, they couldn't live outside of the village. That's why they created a culture and rules that prohibited contact with the outside world. It also explains why people acted so abnormal during the dam conflict. So, the demons that came out of the swamp in the legend of Oyashiro-sama can be interpreted as the mass spread of the parasite. The story about the demons attacking the villagers must be a metaphor for the behavior of the infected villagers who are controlled by the parasite. This theory is too crazy. I should have just laughed about it. This series keeps being like, there could be a scientific explanation. But I'm sure there's something supernatural here. See, that I have no idea about either. I am 90% there's a scientific explanation. 10% could be supernatural. I don't know. But I would like for it to have a scientific explanation, but I'm okay if there's not. It's like, whatever. But I'm actually not sure which is which. But Rena being like, oh, that theory is too crazy. It's so funny. Either way, I wouldn't like being there. I don't think anyone would like being there. But, you know, hate to burst your bubble, Hinamizawa is based on a real village. So, you know, you could be there if you wanted to be. I don't think any of this would happen to you, but, you know. But I felt bad for Mio-san, so I decided not to. Hinamizawa was controlled by a parasite. Could use that theory to explain how the maggots came out of me. Felt a little dizzy. I was so confused. And a part of me thought it was ridiculous. Another part of me thought it was more convincing than any curse. But Mio-san was probably erased because she wrote these scrapbooks. So, contents of these scrapbooks must be something they can't ignore. Try to get all their scrapbooks and consign them to oblivion. What if they notice some of her scrapbooks are missing? Felt the chill running through my spine. I have to keep it a secret that I have these scrapbooks. I'll have to try to understand more about their contents. I remember Mio-san told me the 3 families are behind a series of mysterious deaths, and they're trying to resurrect the cult of Oyashiro-sama. According to the theory I just read, the parasite must be trying to maintain the current environment of Hinamizawa. The healthiest environment for it is completely closed village, just like the primitive Onagafachi. It must be very comfortable for the parasite if no hosts go outside the village. I don't even like that the villagers often leave the village to go shopping. That means the parasite would try to goad the hosts into resurrecting the cult of Oyashiro-sama. Huh? Remember there was an article in the scrapbook saying that the demon's blood runs thickest in the 3 families. That would mean they have a larger amount of the parasite in them than the other villagers, and that they're under its control. 3 families seem to be planning to bring the village back to Onagafachi era. Reviving the Watsunagashi festival after the dam conflict can be interpreted as their desire to revive the faith that had started to fade away in the Meiji era. Hold on a second. The Watsunagashi festival only started again after the dam conflict? So there's been like, what? 10 or less Watsunagashi festivals? And all of them have murders in them? Every single one. Okay. The 3 families, especially the Sonozaki family, have a great influence over the region and public organizations. What's going on here? I thought this to be a poorly written theory, but the pieces fit together, one after another. I never played a jigsaw puzzle as crazy as this. But my brain swirling due to this absurd theory. Part of me thought it was ridiculous, and another part of me thought I was about to expose an unbelievable truth. When I tried to look into the center of it, felt as if I was going to fall into the whirlpool and drown. I'll have to devote myself to reading more seriously. There must be some truth to this. It caused misfortune and made my life miserable after I moved to Ibaraki. I might be able to find the truth, including the cause of my parents' divorce and my desperate behavior, I don't think her parents' divorce is related to that at all. She needs to stop. She needs to stop looking for a reason for her parents' divorce. Some things just happen, you know? Right then, I heard a knock on the door all of a sudden, scaring me. I hid the scrapbooks under a cushion. Rena, you have a phone call.
A phone call? This late? Who is it?
It's from a bookstore. Did you order some books? They said they were Oishi-san from the Okinomiya bookstore. Huh. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Wow, I didn't know he worked at a bookstore.
Yeah, he's actually not a cop. He's just a bookstore librarian.
Oh, come on, we skip that?
Why?
I opened the windows, but all they let in was heat and the cries of the cicadas. It's too hot. It really is. It was break time between classes, but we couldn't really get any rest. Yoon and I leaned on our desks, exhausted by the heat. Oh my goodness. Do you guys hear this happening right now? I hope you guys don't hear this. Ruckus. It's called a vacuum. Somebody's vacuuming in the classroom right now, I think. Let me close my door. Ooh. Crazy how when you close a door, sound becomes quieter. Who thought? The younger kids sure are tough considering how the heat wasn't bothering them at all. They're running around the classroom despite the temperature. Do schools in cities have air conditioning in their classrooms? Yes. No, they don't. What? Only the teacher's office gets to have air conditioning. Maybe it's just a Japan thing. Or it's like not a US thing. Wow, that's better than nothing. If I were a student at a school like that, I'd attack the teachers and take over their office. You'd be the first student ever to do that. I didn't even have the energy to laugh. Yoon and I stopped talking and used our notebooks to fan ourselves. Looked at the empty seat nearby. It was Rena's. Rena didn't come to school today. She called and told Chie-sensei she couldn't come because she's sick. Rena seems to be feeling down these days. Yeah, she probably gets tired from the heat. Do you really think that's the reason? Yeah, why? I think it's the incident. Maybe. It's probably both that and the summer heat. Can't even imagine how distressing it was for her to commit a murder. Dismember the bodies and get caught by her friends. Yeah, how terrible for Rena. How terrible for Rena for all that to happen to her. Oh my goodness, that must have been so distressing. We took each other's hands at that place and we united. All of us believed we had to close the cases there and regained our peace. How terrible she got caught. I know. But was that as easy for Rena as it was for us? She must not have quite recovered yet. This old man thought she'd get over it if she played along with us. But I guess her pain ran deeper than I thought. What should we do to cheer her up? It's best just to leave her alone, I think. Hey, are you sure about that? We're her friends, you know? Well, it's like homesickness, you know? You get lonely and you want to call home just to hear your mom's voice. That actually makes your homesickness worse. When you're feeling lonely, the best thing to do is devote yourself to sports or something like that for a change. I want her to do club activities with us, but she doesn't want to. I don't know about her, but people usually have a desire to depend on somebody. You want to depend on somebody who supports you and sympathizes with you. Haven't you ever experienced that feeling? When you can't stop depending on somebody when they try to cheer you up? Well, I don't know. Completely depending on someone means trying to earn even deeper sympathy from them. At that point, even though you're trying to comfort them, they just slip further and further into depression. By finding initial success through relying on someone and receiving comfort, they grow addicted to indulging in misfortune. I think Rena knows that too. That's why she wants to be alone right now. You know? That's kind of true. In a certain way, I think it's kind of true. If she wanted to depend on us or get comfort from us, all she have to do is stay with us and cry all the time. Oh my god. So how can we cheer her up? I think she'd appreciate it more if you tried to help her forget the pain than if you tried to cheer her up. Don't comfort her and don't cheer her up. There's nothing I can do, is there? That's the golden rule for psychologists. Did you know? What? No. Come on. That's not true. That's not true. Oh my gosh. Mental trauma can only be healed by the person who has it. Someone else helps a person out of their mental trauma. Even if they succeed, the person wouldn't be completely healed. So all we can do now is wait until Rena heals on her own. I don't know. I understand the idea, but I just don't like how cold it sounds. I clasped my hands behind the back of my head, looking at the ceiling. Mion laughed. Rena will be fine as long as she has someone like you to worry about her. Sure, she can pull herself together. So all I need to do is be close to her? I don't know about that.
There is something you can do, Keishi.
Rika-chan spoke up. For how long has she been listening to our conversation? What is it?
You can listen to her when she wants to talk to somebody.
Is that all? I just listen and I don't need to make her feel better? Oh my gosh. A group of girls teaching a guy that talking to somebody can help them feel better. Whoa. New information. Kei-chan, people feel better just by talking to somebody. Sometimes all they need is someone who does nothing but listen quietly.
Just like me said, I think it's important for us as friends to be there for her whenever she wants to talk to somebody.
Mion and Rika-chan were absolutely right. I was going to pat Rena on her shoulder, tell her to cheer up when I saw her next. That's terrible. But now I know that would have been one-sided on my part. Rena doesn't want to feel down herself. She wants to cheer up if at all possible. If I cheered her up irresponsibly, she'd be very disappointed because she'd think that I didn't understand her pain. You're right. Guess I wasn't even trying to understand how she felt. I wanted to cheer her up. But now I know that's just what I want to do, not what she wants me to do. Thanks, you two. Okay, this whole section is such a therapy session. Holy moly. I think I finally understand. On that day, I thought I cheered her up. I started to doubt if I had reached her heart. I might have just been dragging her someplace where I wanted her to go. Was on her side in the real sense of the term. All of a sudden, Rika-chan patted my head.
Don't worry. We all know that you're on her side.
What? What? Did I say something out loud again? It did reach her heart. Kei-chan, you really did give her great strength on that day. Well, now that I think about it, what you said on that day was more than a little theatrical. Heard footsteps from the hallway, and everybody started to head back to their desks. Take your seats, everyone. President, if you would. All rise! And the school over? School over. We didn't have a club meeting that day because Rena wasn't around. That worked out for me, because I had an errand to run. It wasn't a big errand. My mom wanted me to use her point card to get some detergent. I didn't see the point of going all the way to the store just to get detergent. My mom told me to go because she's busy helping my dad with his work. His dad is a lewd artist. What do you mean? She's helping his... Okay. I started walking towards the shopping center. I knew someone was watching me, hiding behind a distant tree. I wonder who would do such a mischievous thing. I stared at them to find out who it was, at which point they emerged. Oh, Rena. Are you feeling better now? I was about to say that, but I swallowed the words. Somehow, Rena looked very serious. Well, what's going on? Shh! Rena put her index finger to her lips, told me to be quiet, looked around carefully and beckoned for me to come over. I had no idea what was going on, but I followed her instructions, shut my mouth, and ran to her. Rena gestured for me to squat down to hide in the shadow of the bush. I didn't know why I had to do that, but I could ask her the question later. I just followed her orders for now. Rena looked like she was making sure no one was following her. If it was Mio and she'd do something like this just to fool me, as a joke. I know Rena doesn't do things like this for fun. I had no idea what kind of situation I'd gotten myself into. I could feel how tense it was, and I made myself as small as I could.
Good. It's okay now. I'm sorry.
The tone of her voice made me relax a little. Oof, what's going on?
I think somebody has been following me.
What? Who would follow her? When I thought about it, I realized how stupid the question was. Is it the police? Rena, Mamma Mia, and Tepe Hojo. Two people disappeared. Even though they were awful human beings, the police had to investigate if they found out that they'd gone missing. Yeah, footsteps behind her, perhaps? That's definitely what she's talking about. And if it's the footsteps, that's like step one of the freaking process. So she has been cursed even though she is still in the village. So I don't know exactly what she did wrong other than reading the journals. Probably wouldn't be difficult to find out that Rena had often been to Rena's house. But it should be okay. As long as they don't find those bags, it should be okay.
I don't know if it's the police or not, but I feel like somebody has been watching me since the night of Watanagashi.
What do you mean? Once I asked that question, Rena stared directly at me with a blank expression. Her eyes looked as though they were evaluating me. She stared at me as if she were assessing whether I was worth talking to about something very important. Rena squeezed her own wrist tightly and then started talking in a whisper.
I can tell you what's going on, but can you keep a secret?
Yeah, of course I can. Want me to keep it a secret? I won't tell anyone.
Okay, I trust you.
She smiled and looked around one more time.
They might be looking for Mio-san's scrapbooks.
Mio-san? Oh, the nurse. Takano-san? What about her scrapbooks?
The police are keeping the investigation under wraps, so I'm sure you don't know. Mio Takano-san was murdered.
What? What? When? She told me to be quiet again, lowered my voice and let her continue.
On the night of Watanagashi, we met Mio-san and Tomitake-san, didn't we? They were attacked right after that. Tomitake-san was cursed by Yashiro-sama. He clawed out his throat and died. Mio-san was burned to death in the mountains of the Gifu prefecture.
Is that true? I mean, nobody told me about that.
I know. That's because the police haven't disclosed their investigation. His cases make the 5th of the series of mysterious deaths, so the police have decided not to go public yet.
I see. I understand why police are keeping quiet about it, but then, where did you hear this?
Can you keep it a secret? I've been in contact with Oishi-san. He's a detective from the Okinomiya Police Department. He told me about the case.
Why did he tell you?
I don't know. He said he told me because he could trust me.
I was dumbfounded to hear all this. But I knew she wasn't lying. If it was Mio and she'd be sticking her tongue out by now. Rena wouldn't make a joke out of something like this.
I think the reason why Mio-san was murdered is because of her research. Do you know she was doing
Oh god.
ethnological research by studying the history of this village?
I've heard something along those lines. Takano-san was interested in the occult and in mysterious things. Remember Mion once told me that she was studying the village's legends of man-eating demons out of curiosity.
I think she discovered a very important secret about this village through her studies. Or maybe she wasn't even close to the truth, but they thought she was.
Wait a second. What's the secret of this village you're talking about? She's like,
Maggots.
I just read a few of her
Scrapbooks, but those were the ones she was handling with extra caution. So I think there are pretty important things written in them. I think I know about 80% of what Mio-san was trying to uncover. But if it's true, it's almost too crazy to believe. Right now I'm trying to find out whether Mio-san's theory is right or not.
So, what is it? What's the secret of this village? What could be so important that you might get killed just by knowing about it? I gasped for the moment those words left my mouth. Rena told me I might get killed too.
I don't want to tell you yet, but I promise I will once I verify things. Because it's really crazy. Too crazy to be true.
What do you mean you have to verify things?
For example, I myself serve as verification that the maggot disease can occur without any background knowledge. But there are a lot of things I still need to verify. They sound too crazy to be true. I can hardly believe them if I don't verify that they are.
Maggots? I was totally lost now. I wanted to ask her some questions, but I decided not to cut in. Using his knowledge from earlier, that just listening and not saying anything. It was so hot outside. Rena held her arms as if she was cold. Rena, I'm always on your side. You can trust me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
From her expression alone, I could tell that she really meant it. I could also tell that she was involved in something very big. She felt lonely because she couldn't tell anyone else about it. I had to be on her side while she was going through a difficult time. Honestly, if I was Keiichi, I would think Rena's going crazy because of the stress from the incident. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would also think that, but Keiichi's a close friend of Rena, and he wants to believe in her. So he's believing that, you know. I had to be on her side when she was going through a difficult time.
You shouldn't tell anybody that you met me here today. They might try to hurt you if they found out.
Okay. Isn't there anything I can do to help?
Not right now. But it's very reassuring that I can ask you for help when I need it. I'll depend on you someday.
Yeah. Anytime.
Shh, a car's coming.
Rena pushed my head into the bush. Went along with it and crouched down even lower in the bushes. We stayed quiet for a while. I could hear a car coming closer. After a while, a white van passed by. Surprised at her hearing. She heard the car coming when it was still far off in the distance.
Did you see its license plate number?
What? No, I'm sorry. I didn't.
I couldn't either, but I think it's the same car I saw earlier.
Are they the ones following you?
I think so. Passed by me many times today on the street, where nobody usually drives. I hit every time, but it's strange.
Are they the ones? Are they the ones who killed Takano-san and Tomitake-san? Are they looking for the scrapbooks that you have?
Most likely, yes.
I don't blame her for not being able to believe what was going on, because this is really crazy. Takano-san uncovered something really significant through her studies. People who want that information hidden found out about it. They killed her on the night of Watsunagashi, copying the curse of a Yashiro-sama. They're looking for the scrapbooks, the fruits of her research, and Rena has them. And that's why... they're trying to kill Rena? What about your house?
It's safe there. I hid the scrapbooks in my secret hideout in the garbage dump. I'm worried about my father, but he'll be fine because he doesn't really know anything.
That's true.
It's written on your face, Keiichi-kun. It says, I can't believe it because it sounds too crazy to be true. Am I right?
Yeah. Wanted to deny it, but it felt bad to lie. I remained silent in the affirmative.
Well, that's a normal reaction. I couldn't believe any of it when I read the first scrapbook. Finally started seeing the connections after reading all of them.
I'm sorry. I do want to help you, but I just don't know how. If I don't see the whole picture of what's going on.
If I tell you, it might put you in danger.
You're already in danger, right? I don't mind. Don't worry about me.
Okay, I'll tell you then. It's probably the 3 families who killed Mio-san and Tomitake-san. To be more specific, it's the Sonozaki family, Mii-chan's family.
Why?
You know about the series of mysterious deaths, right?
Of course. Traitors of the dam conflict die every year, right?
The series of mysterious deaths is like a resolution of the dam conflict. They're trying to end the dam conflict in the true sense of the term by erasing people who betrayed the village.
It does look like that in a way. Nobody really says it out loud, but everybody's suspicious that the Sonozaki family's behind it. That's what I've heard.
But if they really wanted to erase the traitors, they wouldn't have to do it on the night of Watanagashi. Why don't they kill them all at once instead of killing them one by one, using the curse and demoning them away every year? Wouldn't that make more sense?
I've never heard the words demoning away before, but Rena clearly thought that they have some kind of creepy, significant meaning, so I decided not to cut in.
That means they're using the series of mysterious deaths in order to resurrect the sacredness of the Watanagashi festival. Step by step, they're reviving the sacred nature of Onikafuchi that was lost in the Meiji era. Their goal is to revive the level of belief in Oyashiro-sama that used to exist in primitive times.
Belief in Oyashiro-sama? Are you talking about the Furede Shrine?
Yes. Do you think people revere the Furede Shrine now? Elder people respect the shrine, but that's it. Kids think of it as a place to play. Most of the villagers think of it as a place to gather for local events. Its sacredness has been lost. But with the dam conflict, it started to revive. And they took it as a good opportunity to bring back the cult of Oyashiro-sama.
So, you're saying that some fanatical Oyashiro-sama worshippers are behind all this?
That's what I'm saying. The cult of Oyashiro-sama was managed by the 3 families to begin with. The 3 families passed down their ultimate goal of reviving the cult of Oyashiro-sama down to the present generation. When you think about it, you'll understand why the 3 families took the initiative in uniting the villagers during the dam conflict, and why they set up the Onikafuchi Guardian's office in the Furede Shrine, citing Oyashiro-sama, who was almost forgotten at the time.
So, the 3 families, the fanatical Oyashiro-sama worshippers, orchestrated the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. But wait, why would they kill Takano-san?
Because she discovered the important secret of the village. The 3 families have been hiding it since the era of Onikafuchi. If that secret is revealed, the sacredness of Yashiro-sama would be lost. They found out that Mio-san was getting close to the secret, and that's why they killed her.
What's this important secret? I don't care if I put myself in danger, I need to know.
I don't want to tell you yet. I don't want to tell you until I'm 100% sure about it. I'm pretty sure that right now, you just laugh.
Hey, do you think I'm that kind of guy?
I just need a little more time. I can't accept the truth myself because it sounds so impossible. So, I need some time. Please?
I understand.
Don't tell anybody about what we talked about today. Not even Mii-chan, Rika-chan, or Satoko-chan.
Okay.
Well, you should get going now. I'll take a look around for a while before I go home. Can't be too careful anymore.
Rena ducked low in the bushes and moved away. I was left alone there. Cries of the cicadas surrounded around me, making it seem as if I was alone there the whole time. I started walking, still dumbfounded. In the end, Rena didn't tell me the secret because she was afraid of putting me in danger. But she told me clearly that there are people who want to resurrect the cult of Oyashiro-sama, that they're among the 3 families that control the entire village. They orchestrated the series of mysterious deaths for that purpose, and they killed Takano-san because she got too close to the secret they wanted to hide. Rena met Takano-san and happened to obtain the scrapbooks in which Takano-san wrote about her research. Rena still can't believe the secret within the scrapbooks because it's just too crazy. Hey, come on, Rena. You're kidding me, right? It's like one of those comic book stories. Mysterious occult group is plotting a conspiracy? I mean, it's not even funny if it's a joke. But Rena's right about one thing. Even if this is true, it's really hard to believe. I understand why Rena wanted to wait to tell me the secret. Maybe she was just fooled by Takano-san. But Takano-san was murdered, for real. So is it also true that somebody is following Rena, looking for the scrapbooks? I remember Rena said that a white van was following her. You can see white vans everywhere. Anywhere. But there are a lot in this village alone. She might just be oversensitive to everything right now. Rena hasn't recovered from the shock since that day. Probably why she got the idea in her head that the police or somebody else is coming after her. I didn't cut in while she was talking. I think I did the right thing. If I had said that it was ridiculous or something to her face, Rena wouldn't have trusted me ever again. At that point, however, I gasped. A white van was parked on the side of the street. I wasn't sure if this was the same car that passed by earlier since I didn't see the plate number. But the number of people in the car and the ambience of it was similar to the one earlier. And, you remember from I don't know how many chapters ago? When Keiichi started to get very paranoid about somebody going to murder him, a white van almost ran him over. Interesting. And there was one other thing that looked suspicious about it. There was no reason to park here. It's on a small road in the middle of the woods. There's nothing around here. No traffic lights, no vending machines, no public phones. Probably wouldn't notice it under ordinary circumstances, but I felt something was wrong. Once I noticed how odd it was definitely suspicious. There were 4 men in work uniforms in the white van. The driver was smoking a cigarette. The other men were just sitting there doing nothing. If they wanted to take a break or have a smoke, they could have chosen a better place than here. It's possible they stopped because they had to go to the bathroom really badly, but it didn't seem that way either. They didn't look as comfortable or relaxed like they would be if they were taking a break. They looked like they were waiting for something to happen. There was a deep tension in that car. Could they be possibly waiting for Rena? No way. I didn't see anybody walking around here. This road is a back road. Nobody really uses this road, let alone by car. But it's impossible. I felt bad for Rena to even think about it, but this must be something she got into her head, because she's feeling victimized or something. She must be imagining things because she's still nervous from when her friends caught her in the act of killing Rena and Teppei. He has to keep mentioning that she literally murdered people. Hey, young man. I heard someone say that when I passed by the van. It couldn't be me. He didn't even know who I was. So I assumed he was talking to one of the other people in the car. Pretended I didn't hear him, and I kept walking by. And then he said it again. And honked the horn as well. Hey, young man, excuse me. You on your way home from school? He had a strong accent similar to that of the older villagers. He must live here, but I didn't know him. I could tell he didn't know me either, because he didn't call me by name. Yes, I am. You've been walking on this road all the way from school, right? Turn the corner where the stationery store is, right? Yes. So? You're probably lost, I thought. This village has many small turns, so you can easily get lost when you try to take a shortcut. I must have been waiting for somebody to ask for directions. But then, he said something disturbing. Young man, didn't you see a girl on the way here? Huh? What? A girl with a white hat and white clothes with a purple ribbon on it? Did you see her? They were definitely talking about Rena. No, I didn't. I wasn't ready to hear them ask that. Rather, I was scared. So my voice got all shaky. Until that point, I couldn't believe Rena's story. I thought it was ridiculous. I actually laughed, if only to myself. So I wasn't ready at all. My heart was beating fast and I was sweating all over. I immediately answered no, I didn't, but might have sounded like an obvious lie. Keiichi is terrible at lying. Just horrible. The driver stared into my eyes. He looked like he was trying to figure out if I was lying or not. My legs started to shake. I felt like a frog under the glare of a snake. and I couldn't move a muscle for a while. But I think the same went for those men too. They were clearly a suspicious group. They had just asked a villager about a girl out of the blue. Anybody would get suspicious. And I was right. The man broke the ice and started making excuses before I even asked him why he wanted to know about the girl.
Well, I was asking for no particular reason. I just passed by a girl earlier. But you're a boy, so we were just wondering.
Oh, okay.
Please forget it. Sorry for the trouble, young man. We're off.
I started the engine and drove away. After they left, I saw nothing. That's right, nothing. There's no reason why they had to park here. So, were they really waiting for Rena? Yikes, Rena's getting followed. It's still insane to me that she had literally 0 consequences from murdering 2 people, but, you know. Lunch takeout list 2? Oh my god, highly anticipated. Let's freaking go. Exciting. Yay! Lunch list 2! No one liked them anyway. That's so mean! But it's true. But it's true. Furthermore, it's important that we closely monitor her father. Since he has also suffered mental shock from the divorce, he has been trying hard to take care of the patient. There's a strong possibility he may develop an induced delusional disorder. As the first step of mental care, one should listen to the patient's story carefully without denying it. It is the most basic of basics. However, when the patient and the listener are related, it's easy for the listener to become deeply influenced by the patient's delusions. Additionally, delusional parasitosis is widely known to make people highly impressionable, and the influence sometimes can spread throughout a whole community. Therefore, even if several people claim to acquire parasitic infection, it doesn't necessarily prove the existence of a parasite. Some of the phone calls to the healthcare centers for the examination of pests are nothing but a mass delusion. Since the subject matter of the delusion in this case is extremely rabid, the patient might harm or even kill each other in abnormal ways, believing this to be the treatment for the disease. They might also give us hope and commit suicide together. What? They also might give up hope and commit suicide together in the worst case. This influential delusional disorder, otherwise known as shared psychotic disorder, shows a particularly strong possibility of influencing close companions. Anyone who's going to contact the patient must be made to understand that the patients are under medical treatment and must be warned not to be influenced by the patient's delusions. She's a SCP. Individuals who are likely to be influenced are the patient's family members and people who deeply care about the patient, such as boyfriends or girlfriends. Or girlfriends, bisexual Rena. Confirmed? Where was the lunch? There was no lunch on that one. What the heck? There was no lunch takeout. We got one here, but not here. Anyway. Very, 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 very good. Freaking love this video game. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to this amazing story as we go through it together. Have a good day. Have a good night wherever you are. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bruh. Why did you bonk me as I was leaving? The goodbye bonk, okay. Alright.